1,740 pages.
So if you think about a ream of paper is 500 sheets, right? So with nothing on it.
Yeah.
So here's 500,
Yeah.
1,000. So that double puts back here, and then another 500, and then you put ink on it.
Yeah, it's a little tall. Yeah.
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 Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just amazing. So when you think of, hey, a new bill gets passed, it's not only a lot of work to do it, like we were just talking about Schoolhouse Rock with the bill sitting on Capitol Hill. Like it goes through all these committees and all these people to do it. But, a bill this size is going to be pretty big. And it's really hard to try to read it. Even if you load it to a PDF and just do a Control F and look for cybersecurity, it shows up like 14,000 times or something.
Wow.
So it's so I thought with this class students we'll find a couple things we can leverage for our IT company. Like, hey, here's dollars for putting in internet in rural communities or something like that.
So are these grants that we have to apply for, or it's just available to anyone? I mean, how does that work?
It's through a grant process. I'm not exactly sure how to do that yet, but hopefully we figure it out. And the other part is a lot of the money isn't available for a couple more years. So we can spend it now, but we can't get it.
I see.
But looking through this bill, I started, using the Google to do my homework for me. I looked at impact of the 2021 infrastructure bill or something at the time. And it took me to KSMC's website, and they're an awesome group of consultants and accountants and everything. And I was looking for, if I Google this, like, hey, if you're an IT company, click here for the grant document and get your money. Instead, it kind of took me down a different rabbit hole of talking about the CARES Act. So last year, the CARES Act was if you were impacted by COVID in your business or some kind of shutdown or something, you couldn't have you got some sort of employment tax credit. So that led to another rabbit hole of looking at what the CARES Act was, and so a lot of companies have used the CARES Act. It's for every quarter, you can get up between $5,000 and $7,000 of tax credit per employee.
Just because?
Yeah, just because the country was shut down. So
because you're keeping them employed, that's what the basis.
Yeah. So instead of laying off, keep your employees, keep feeding them and their families, which is awesome, and here's a tax credit to help you out. So where this came out is then looking farther, just how to qualify for that. So pretty much everybody could qualify for that if you had some kind of impact to your business. Then it started going back to the infrastructure bill. There was the terms of using unpaid COVID stimulus dollars. So I was like, okay, let's look for unpaid stimulus dollars. So it turns out the unpaid stimulus dollars are from the CARES Act for the fourth quarter of this year, which hasn't really happened yet, so they haven't been spent yet. So they used the dollars that haven't been spent to pay for part of the infrastructure bill. So I was like, oh, that's interesting enough to read on. So as we look at that and talking to CPAs, so it turns out that if you've already kind of budgeted in having those tax credits because, the world happened, now you have to pay those back. So it's $5,000 per employee for the quarter. So if you have a company of 100, or you have 100 employees, to make the math easy, you now have to come up with $500,000 to pay your tax bill.
And this is just for Q4?
Just for Q4.
Now this is in addition to or different than the stimulus package, the PPE?
The PPP was a separate deal, but sort of, there's probably something with that buried in there.
Okay.
But this is just specifically the CARES Act for the employment tax credits. So, talking to a lot of CPAs and, looking at their documents and everything, I think it would be wise if you're a business owner or involved in the financial side of your company to get your CPA and see if you've taken those tax credits and how to pay them back, because that's gonna hit you hard. And it's also retroactive. So the bill was just passed this Monday, but the tax credit cancellation was retroactive back to October.
For the beginning of Q4?
For Q4.
So everyone that was already on that plan, more than likely, automatically just got the money just because, because you'd have to really dig through to find that.
Yeah. So if you're a business of 100 employees, you have $500,000 tax bill coming up. So it kind of gets into financial modeling and budgeting. Like if you don't even know where you're at today and you have an extra $500,000 bill, you're even worse in trouble. But if you had some kind of contingency funds, or if you watch any like remodeling shows on TV, it's like we have a $10,000 contingency fund because they forgot out the beam or whatever. If you haven't had those in your businesses, that's going to hit us hard. And a lot going on right now with the Great Resignation. A lot of employees are just kind of taking some time off. That number's probably could double because of this, because now employers were short-staffed and now they can't pay and
Right.
they weren't ready for it.
Because they don't even have the reserve funds to be able to hire, if they could even find anyone to hire. I don't know where all these people have gone.
Yeah.
I mean, where are they?
Yeah.
You go to any fast food restaurant, it's like, our lobby's closed because we don't have enough
Yeah.
people. Or even, what's the name of it? Red Robin the other day was just closed altogether because they didn't have enough employees to open.
Even Bub's is just closed on Tuesdays. It's like that's the only chance to give people time off. So I think it's interesting, where are all these people that are not working while they're not at businesses spending money? So it's, kind of snowballing. So
it is snowballing. And they were saying, I usually try and catch the first 15 minutes of the Today Show every day. And they were saying that they thought that the Great Resignation would have ended around August, when everybody, if they were going to get vaccinated, had gotten vaccinated and things were starting to get back to normal. But actually in October, they actually saw an even bigger surge of people leaving their jobs, because now there's more jobs out on the market posted.
Yeah.
So people who were on the fence and didn't really want to commit because they were afraid where they were going to go, now there's just a ton of job openings out there.
Yeah, I think it's going to gain momentum. So with this, tax credit thing going away, I think Q1 there's going to be a ton of layoffs, and it's going to have a lot more employee discontentment. And then once it gets nice out, it's going to be even harder. I wasn't really happy in the wintertime, but now that it's summer, let's go camping or rent a boat or something.
Yeah, I could be on the lake and be unemployed just as well as I could be bundled up in my apartment being unemployed.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot coming.
That's an interesting perspective. So what could a business do? I know this is kind of a deviation from our normal, cybersecurity, hacking kind of thing, and that all that stuff is still going on, but mainly because this just passed on Monday, I think a lot of businesses are going to just be blindsided by this spend. So is there anything anybody can do at this point to get a handle on it, or is it?
Well, I think the first thing is get with your financial team to see if this really applies to you. If you took the dollars, if you're planning on it, how does it actually impact you, so you can get ahead of it a little bit. I think another thing is, especially year end, when that's usually when companies have money left over for charitable giving and everything else. I think it's going to have a pretty big impact on that. We were going to give Kiwanis or whatever this money for their new playground or something. It's no, it's gone.
Wow. So I know that you've helped with our business model here at the Brookfield Group with, you always have all these interesting spreadsheets and numbers and everything going into it. Is that something that somebody could contact you to help them with?
Sure.
Or?
Yeah, we can help with the financial modeling. We can tie it into your QuickBooks, tie it into your other payroll systems. We can automate it, or we can just whiteboard it. Yeah. So give us a call.
All right. So if you are a business out there that has been collecting this, what's called something care?
The CARES Act.
The CARES Act, if you've been collecting that, get with your CPA, see where you stand on that. If you have any questions, you can contact Matt here at the Brookfield Group. It is matt.macbeth, MACBETH, at thebrookfieldgroup.com. Even if you just have a little question, feel free to reach out, or you can open up a chat during this live stream and ask us there. Chris, do we have any questions?
We do not. Sorry.
I think one thing on the interactive side, if you do, this just passed on Monday, so there really hasn't been a ton of analysis of what's actually happening. So if you learn how this impacts your business, at least reach out and share if it's positive, negative, or it doesn't apply. There's really not even a data set to compare to right now. So, if think of the thousands of listeners we have right now, at least one of them is going to be impacted, and maybe someone else listening knows how to do this. So,
I imagine a lot of this won't even come to light for a few months.
Yeah.
And by then that ship's really going to have sailed.
Yeah. This is already passed by the news cycle. By Monday evening, this is already gone. We're on to the next crisis. Yeah. So,
Yikes. Uncharted waters, people.
But it also means there's 2,739 pages of maybe awesome stuff in there. So also, if you happen to read through this while you're on your treadmill or something in the morning and you come across something awesome, share that too. Maybe it's, if you're a dry cleaner operator, here's a special thing for you. So,
Because when I, as just a political ignorant person, which I am, infrastructure law, and of course, maybe it's because Keith Buttigieg is from Indiana. They've really been focusing on him and bridges and roads and all the stuff that's going to get repaired. And
he lets me call him Pete.
oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I get away with Mayor Pete sometimes if I just slip it in the conversation quickly. So I didn't even know any of the rest of this stuff was happening. And I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that also, you can't stay on top of a 2,000-page document.
Yeah.
So you should keep us updated if your students find anything else noteworthy that we can share with everybody out there. But it's good information. Get with your CPA. Make sure that you're not caught unaware. Thanks for joining us today, Matt. We really appreciate the update. Anything else you want to share with us today? Any quotes?
I have some good quotes. I have some funny quotes, but I actually have some really good quotes. I heard this one this last week. Let me look this up for my next book I'm writing.
Do we have some Jeopardy music we could play, Chris?
I'm looking.
He's looking.
Right. This one's kind of deep here. This is, you enter the world looking like your parents. You leave the world looking like your decisions.
Ooh. Is that what she said?
That's what she said.
Okay. Okay, that's our little joke for the day.
Yeah.
Any other she said's?
Nope, that wasn't from the president of China.
What's his first name?
Xiaoping.
So why does he go by she?
That's his,
Xiaoping she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the folks, it's not as funny to say that's what Xiaoping said.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
But that's what she said.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. So see, we did that at the end of this segment, so Chris will probably edit that out.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot easier to cut. Now we need to say something really good for me.
Really good.
Yeah.
Here's something really good.
Okay.
So we will not be here next Thursday because it is Thanksgiving, but we'll be back the following week. We have a interesting segment that's going to talk about the usually it's sales and marketing going at it like this. Being a marketing person, I know this, but I guess the new thing coming out is the CTO and the COO are feuding over Office apps and what should be run and what should be used, who should have licenses and things like that. So we're hoping to have our operations guy, Rod, on here, or Sean and Daniel and the Rock'em Sock'em robots, and we're going to have rounds of stuff, and we're going to throw up a IT or a software, and then they're going to go at it and see who wins, who gets to control that. So that'll be the week after next.
Excellent.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. Hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. I know there's going to be a crazy amount of people out there traveling today to fill up my Mini Cooper today, and it was like $45 for a Mini. She only holds 10 gallons. Crazy. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.